This video addresses what to do when you're factoring and you have a negative leading term. If you have a polynomial with a negative leading term, factor the negative from all terms first. Then you just use the appropriate method to factor the remaining polynomial. When you write your final answer, you have to remember to write the negative in front of the final factored polynomial. Here's an example. We have negative x squared minus 9x plus 36. So I'll pull out the negative, and in doing that, what's left is x squared plus 9x minus 36. Now, pulling out the negative switched the signs of each term in the parentheses. Now I have a polynomial of the form x squared plus bx plus c. And so I'm looking for two factors that multiply to be c and add to be b. So I'm going to look for two factors that multiply to be negative 36 and add to be positive 9. And I just go ahead and list out my factors of 36. So I have 1 and 36, 2 and 18, 3 and 12, 4 and 9, or 6 and 6. So those are all my possible factor pairs. And now, because I want them to multiply to be a negative, I have to have a positive and a negative. So we have to multiply to be a negative. So that means I have to have a positive and a negative number. So I'm actually really looking for two numbers whose difference is a positive 9. So for example, if I did a negative 3 and a positive 12, those multiply to be the negative 36 because it's a negative times a positive, and they add to be a positive 9, which is the b. So my final answer here, I'll have the negative out front, and then I will have x minus 3 and x plus 12. So I've got my final answer. If I want to check, I would have to multiply it out. So to check, I'll start by just multiplying out the x minus 3 times x plus 12. I'll leave the negative out front. So I'm going to FOIL. X times x is the first two terms, so x squared. That gives me the f of FOIL, the first two terms. The outside terms would give me plus 12x. The inside terms would give me minus 3x. And the last two terms, negative 3 times positive 12, would give me negative 36. Those are the last terms. Then I would distribute the negative. Actually, combine your like terms first. So I'll get a negative out front, parentheses, x squared plus 9x minus 36. Then distribute. And so I would end up with negative x squared minus 9x plus 36. And I just look at my original, negative x squared minus 9x plus 36. That checks out. And so I know that this is the correct answer. Negative and then parentheses x minus 3, close parentheses, times x plus 12. So anytime you have a negative leading term, you factor out the negative and then proceed to factor from there.